Good morning. Hello, hello. All right. I need in my soul to get real with you today. So happy you're here. Welcome, welcome. So cool. Question for you. Have you ever wanted something like charted the path, everything to get there, only to get like midway and stop? Right? Of course, when you doing something you once always wanted anytime, there's always reasons, right? We've got like all the alibis, excuses as to why we've stopped. This person, this thing, this circumstance, right? But 99 times out of 100, the reason is fear. Fear. And if we like dissect this for just a hot second, right, and reflect on what's actually happening, it's like really lack of persistence. And you think of like some really cool, persistent humans in history, there's tons of them. Like we have tons of evidence that this is true, right? I always think of, because I think of a goal at the top of a mountain, right? It's the summit at the top of a mountain. I always think of Sir Edmund Hillary. You're going, do I know that name from somewhere? Yeah. He's like the beekeeper from New Zealand that climbed Mount Everest for the first time and returned back safely. Because that's a key element too. A lot of people tried. A lot of people never made it back. Right? And guess what? He had 2 previous attempts at climbing before he did it successfully. He kept going back. Twice he tried to climb that mountain and still went back for a 3rd time. Right? Do you know what very clear characteristics that he possessed in order to get to top? He knew what he wanted, where he was going, and he did it with persistence. So simple, right? And you might be saying, Dylan, I have all those things, but do you? Do you really? You might have the skill. You might have read all the books. We've talked about reading all the books and like putting all this knowledge in doesn't necessarily do it, right? Without persistence, your skills are nothing. And this was true for Edmund Hillary too. When you master them, right, and do the things intuitively that are guiding you there, right, you'll be at the top of your mountain in no time. And the truth is that we are given mountains every single day. Every day we have mountains, right? So it's not like once you figure it out, the like mountains disappear, right? But you get to decide. You're either going to climb the mountain or you're going to like hang out in the foothills. But it's the decision and it's that easy. See, most think it's hard. Or what the characteristic of those that succeed, that they're made of like different stuff than everybody else. They have magic. It's like someone, little pixie came, sprinkled some magic on them, made them poof, Oprah, poof, Beyonce, poof, Sir Edmund Hillary. Done. No. No. You are not made from different stuff. Those people that hang out in the foothills of the mountain have never chosen to truly develop and grow with persistence. Right? Persistence is key. They may dream big things. I want fame. I want fortune. I want this relationship. I want this position. I want this money. I want. But because there's no such thing as getting something for nothing, What's actually happening is they're refusing to pay the price. Right? And Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, there's no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the qualities to character of the human, what carbon is to steel. Think of that. You need persistence in order to get done what you want to get done. Persistence is mandatory to overcome any obstacle that comes your way. Because they're going to come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's okay. It's called life. And it's called like the enjoying the ride. Right? Everything. Can you imagine if you like didn't have to climb a mountain? If everything was just how boring would that be? Right? We get to enjoy the ride, not we have to. We get to. Right? And even think of some famous athletes, right? That we see the power of persistence. Like literally they come from nothing in their background, but they truly understand they're not going that way. They're not going that way. They're going forward. And I mean, I might not be a huge sports enthusiast, but there's some stories when I hear them, they stick with me. And I remember hearing the story of Ben Hogan. He was a famous golfer back in the day, right? But a really cool story, like literally born into a super poor family. He took a caddy job at the local golf club, right? Center, just to earn some more money for his family. And he fell in love with the sport because there's no accidents in life. He wasn't guided there to make more money. You can make money anywhere, right? He fell in love with the game and dreamed of becoming an awesome golfer, a big golfer, an impactful golfer, right? And he actually, through, practice and persistence and constantly moving forward, he became one of the world's greatest golfers and won a ton of championships. But here's the thing, that wasn't actually his mountain. His mountain actually came when, in the peak of his career, he was involved in a head-on collision with a bus. He wasn't expected to live. The doctors didn't think he would walk again. But that was their opinion. That wasn't Ben's opinion. Right? When he was conscious, he said, take my golf clubs, put them in the corner of my hospital room. And he visualized himself playing again. 1 year later, just 1 year, and he won the United States Open Championship again. And the next year he won more championships. And he had dozens of victories to show. And this was after his accident. After. But what happened? He knew where he wanted to go, and he did it with persistence. He had a dream, a goal, and he persisted in faith in order to achieve it. We see this in entrepreneurs, salespeople, actors, musicians, all of them, because they all hold a similar dream. Might not look the same, but you have it too. But you alone get to decide to quit or continue. Because again, like I said, the obstacles, the mountains that are in your way, it's inevitable. They're going to come up on your goal, right? But it's been said that whatever you conceive and believe through persistence, you must achieve. Whatever you conceive and believe through persistence, you must achieve. Ask, believe, receive. It's guaranteed. I can't even make this stuff up if I tried. I think that's my slogan. It literally blows my mind. How, like, you're hearing this right now, but like, do you get it? Because regardless of what your current situation is, Decide right now to be one of those people who's going to make it happen. To be one of those top 1%, because it's such a small percentage of people. We need to make that percentage bigger because we can, right? That are earning all the profits, have all the relationships, have all the opportunities, and they just keep going and going. And it's not because of some magic fairy dust. They have a goal and they're being persistent. But like I said, this group is too small. Like 1% of the population is getting this. Right? Understand that to join this group of high achievers, you have to begin to practice persistence now. This is your will muscle. This is a higher faculty of yours. It separates you. It's one of the 6 higher faculties that separates you from the animal kingdom. The dog at my feet right now, he can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. But he does not have higher faculties. That's why he couldn't run my phone or run my computer or start a business. Right? You have to make persistence your most developmental muscle. That's your will. And I was reading Think and Grow Rich this morning. I was reading a couple of things. And so I have to read this to you. It's so good. Page 179 in this version. It says, there's no substitute for persistence. It cannot be supplanted by any other quality. Remember this in the beginning, and it will hearten you when the going may seem difficult and slow. Those who have cultivated the habit of persistence seem to enjoy insurance against failure. No matter how many times they are defeated, they finally arrive near the top of the ladder. Sometimes it appears there is a hidden guide whose duty it is to test people through all sorts of discouraging experiences. Those who pick themselves up after defeat and keep on trying arrive, and the world cries, "Bravo! I knew you could do it." The hidden guide lets no one enjoy great achievement without passing the persistence test. Those who can't take it simply do not make the grade. Those who can take it are bountifully rewarded for their persistence. They receive their compensation, whatever goal they are pursuing. And that is not all. They receive something infinitely more important than material compensation. The knowledge that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. A few people know from experience the soundness of persistence. They are the ones who have not accepted defeat as being anything more than temporary. They are the ones whose desires are so persistently applied that defeat is finally changed to victory. We who stand on the sidelines of life see the overwhelmingly large number who go down in defeat, never to rise again. We see the few who take the punishment of defeat as an urge to greater effort. These, fortunately, never learn to accept life's reverse gear. But what we do not see, what most of us never suspect of existing, is the silent but irresistible power which comes to the rescue to those who fight on in the face of discouragement. If we speak of this power at all, we call it persistence and let it go of that. One thing we all know is one does not possess persistence. One does not achieve noteworthy success of any calling without it. Persistence is key. Grow rich. Brilliant. Persistence is such a powerful tool. And that's the thing. With it comes the seed of another equivalent. Everything starts from seeds. Everything. From the carrot you put in the ground to the baby that's in the belly to everything. You tell me one thing in this world that doesn't start from a seed. You might say, oh, your phone doesn't. Well, you know what? The thought of my phone or my computer or internet or social media started as a seed in someone's mind. It did. Everything starts from somewhere. what happens with that 1% is they take the seed that's deemed as failure, instead of saying, oh, that was scary, I'm never doing that again. They say, what did I learn from it? And how can I grow? Persistence cannot be replaced with any other quality. Not skills, not formal education, not calculated plans, not a magnetic personality. None of it. Persistence is key. And there's a quote I read in an article, and Bob has it in a persistence article as well. Bob Proctor, I should probably quote him in that. But Calvin Coolidge, he says, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Talent will not. Nothing, or genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, press on, has solved, and in many ways will solve the problems of all the human race. Okay? How many unsuccessful, talented people do you know? How many geniuses or well-educated people do you know that aren't rising up? Is this resonating with you? Are you hanging out on the foothills of the mountain, wandering aimlessly? By the way, Groundhog Day of like going through the motions and not using your higher faculties is wandering the foothills. And you feel it. You're exhausted at the end of the day. You're exhausted. You're like, what did I even do today? Right? And maybe reflect back on times in your life when you know that you lacked persistence in a goal that you had set. And then instead of persisting, you kind of like lied to yourself and anyone around you that would listen. So much, right? Because when we tell the same story over and over and over again, it becomes real and it becomes our new normal. And then before we know it, we've just settled in to that 99% of humans that do into mediocrity. And then we say, that's just life. That's life. Or maybe you were told growing up, you have to be happy with what you have. Be happy with what you have. Can't you just be happy? And so you just became content with your results. And you say to yourself over and over, I don't need more. I don't need more. I'm happy with what I have. Climbing the mountain isn't important. I call BS on that. You're a creator. Like that's literally why all of us are here, is to create or disintegrate. Create or disintegrate. And I'm not saying go out, quit your job. Maybe that's the space you're supposed to show up in, but are you like living it full out? It's likely to happen at some point in your life, right? But you're thinking back on a time when maybe you tried to climb a mountain and you hit a bump and you got scared. And what happens when fear kicks in? We retreat. We say, oh, this is scary. That's what happens. Fear strikes. And we go back to our comfort zone. It's warm there. It's safe. It's familiar. And you've been hanging out there your whole life. And now you've been hanging out there ever since. And maybe you like step out a little bit and you like poke your toe in the water, right? And you get these like small incremental gains. Your 2% raise every year. You're stoked, right? And you call them wins. You say, I'm doing it. I'm living my life. This is what it is. But you know, and I'm not preaching here. You know that you have more in you. And I hear people say all the time, why should I go all out? Why when I get there, my boss is just going to want more, or it's going to be too much work, to get what I want, or I can't make money doing what I actually want to do, or I don't have time or money to figure it out. Not with that attitude, you're not. Not with that thinking. Remember, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. And this might not be you, but you're here listening to this for a reason, by the way. But you can certainly think of someone who it is like. And you may not be able to shake them and wake them up. So if you don't want this to be you, I would suggest that you don't surround yourself with them regularly. And when you come across them, let them instead be a trigger for you to actually want to just double your commitment to pouring into yourself with persistence to go after what you want, right? So, how do you become persistent? Because it's never developed by accident. It's not something we were born with. You don't inherit it. It's not a gene. Okay? You have to develop it. Develop it for yourself because it's up to you, but you're not in this alone, right? Persistence is a way of life, but that's not where it begins, right? You first have to decide what you want. That fantasy that I'm always talking about, the gap that you see in your world that you can fill with all of your talents and experience. Right? You are the only you in the whole world. Like, that's not just like a cool little saying. It's true. The chances of someone else having the exact same strengths as you is like 1 in a million, more than that, billion, trillion. If you find someone with the same strengths as you, they didn't grow up like you. They didn't grow up in the same house. They didn't have the same experiences. Their paradigm's not your paradigm, which means they're not going to show up in the way that you're going to show up. And you're given all of these, like a puzzle, all these puzzle pieces in your life for a reason. The joy in life is putting the puzzle together. But your pieces aren't going to fit somebody else's puzzle and vice versa. And even if that piece doesn't fit, you have to, with persistence, try to keep putting it together. So when you decide what you want, and if you don't know what that is, dig deep. It's in you. It's not even something I can say, oh, go read this book. I'm not saying go read this book, go read this, anything. It's in you. You know innately. There's just too much noise around. Period. And what will happen is persistence will come automatically. And the idea of like not persisting will like disgust you. And like good luck to anybody who gets in your way. Anybody. Obstacles, mountains, they're going to pop up. They're going to pop up all over the place. And that's okay. It's inevitable. Right? You just dodge them. Boom. You have to be persistent with your dream. But you must decide every single day to wake up and move towards what you want. Do it, or you will find yourself like thrown back to the foothills, rolling down the mountain. You got to wake up every day and commit. Oprah makes it look easy, but man, no one talks about her struggles all the time. Fail, 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 fail. Oh, now she's Oprah. No, she climbed the hill. And even every day she has to wake up and commit to it. We see celebrities all the time fall down the hill. Bankrupt, mental health, suicide, drug overdose, womp, womp, all of it, right? You have to know what you want and be persistent and commit every single day to do it. What are you giving your life for? Is it something you really, really want? What are you trading your life for? That's a crazy question, right? Because remember, you're doing something every single day. Every day. You wake up, you have your list of to-dos. Is it like a really good list of to-dos? So at the end of the day, you're like, woo, rocked my to-do list today. Did it just put out fires for today, or did it actually move you forward? Right? Whatever you're doing is your decision. Or was it? That's a good question too. Do you even make your own decisions? Or are you letting others people make your decisions for you? Are you letting them make your decisions for you because you feel like it's hard? Another book I love, it's called U Squared. Reading it this morning too. And I read this part and it said, I'm sitting here at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful little place hidden back among the pine trees about an hour from Toronto. It's just past noon in late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies on a futile attempt to fly through a glass window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder. But it's not working. The frenzied efforts offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed breaking the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal, and through raw effort, determination, this fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of its self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Try harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want in life. Sometimes, in fact, it's the big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. So when I'm saying this, I don't want you to think when I say persistent, I mean try harder. We're not flies. The problem is we're all in our we're all dressed up like flies, stuffing all our fly guts, and we're just like flying around the foothills, flying around the windowsills, right? Every once in a while, someone starts to like take off their fly suit and goes, are we really flies? Are we really flies? Like, does that make sense to everybody? Right? And they say, no. Just put your fly suit back on. It's easier. Just keep flying into the window. Are you a fly working harder like 99% of the population? If yes, that's okay. Right? You do you. You can't let it bother you. You have to forgive yourself. When you know better, you do better and move on forever. Like, don't go back there. Don't hang out back there. If this resonates with you, let it be your wake-up call. And I promise you that you can have everything you want in life. And it can be easy. And it can be fun. And it'll be worth trading your life for. And along the journey, climbing that mountain, you're going to gather new strengths. You're going to develop yourself, things you didn't even think were possible. And it's going to make climbing so much easier. And when you get to the top of your mountain, you're going to look over, you're going to say, oh my gosh, there's another mountain. If I can climb this mountain, I can climb that mountain. And then you're going to go for more. right? Don't worry about why you want it. Just know whatever you want, just know you want it and then step into it, become it. Ed Hillary became the mountain climber. Tiger Woods became the golfer. Oprah and Beyonce became. Martin Luther King became, right? My mentor, Bob Proctor, says the whys in our life are a blessing from spirit. The whys in our life are a blessing from spirit. They are spirit's way of turning us into a perfect instrument for spirit to express itself through. Spirit is always for expansion and fuller expression. So the essence of you is spiritual, right? We all have this energy flowing to and through us. We know this. Science and theology tell us this. It's all we can go by, right? Spirit is saying to your consciousness, hey, want this? Do you really want this? You want it enough? If you do, you'll grow into the person that's capable of achieving it. But you're worthy of having anything you want. You just need to know what that is and persist to get it. All successful people we know were once ordinary people. They were once the 1% or the 99%. They just knew what they wanted, period. It's the only difference between you and Oprah. Or you and whoever you look up to. Huge fan of Oprah, by the way. Oprah, if you're watching, I love you. Right? You have to honor your inner knowing. It's expressing itself and it wants out. Right? Alfred Adler, he nailed it when he said, I'm grateful for the idea that used me. We all have it running to and through us. But are you too busy listening to all the outside noise? Because there's so much of it, ridiculous amounts. It's in you and you have more power inside of you. You're not using a fraction of what you're capable of. Not even close. Know what you want and go after it. And then when fear strikes, you persist. You beat resistance with persistence. And all the people at the foothills of the mountain, they haven't learned that. And resistance will keep beating them down. And it'll cause a ton of whining and blaming. Oh, blaming. I used to be really good at blaming, like professional blamer. It was everybody else's fault. Always the circumstances. Never me. But they haven't learned that they're the only problem. They're the only thing standing in the way between here, where they are, and what they want. That's it. That's why I'm so passionate about coaching people through this. Because it can be so easy and it works for everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter what your goal is. Whether it's a financial goal, a business goal, a job you want, a relationship you want better grades in school, you want to rock your business, doesn't matter. You're currently here and you want to go here. Right? That's the cool part. Don't worry about the how. The how is not up to you. Just decide. For crying out loud. Sound like my mother. Decide and persist on, and you will get everything you want in life. And if you're going to Lynn, I don't know where to even start. I remember feeling the exact same way, and that's when I tracked down my coach. Well, I didn't track her down. She fell into my lap, just like I'm falling into your lap. So reach out. I'm happy to help you. That's what I do. What I offer here is like a fraction of what I have to give. And I know that. There's so much awesomeness. So thank you guys so much for joining in today. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Have an awesome day, my friends. Hello, hello.